That 300-meter dive watch on your wrist, let's face it, it's probably never going to go any deeper than your kitchen sink. Welcome to Doug's Watches, the thinking watch channel. Here, I like to connect art, design, history, and sometimes philosophy to watches. So if that sounds good to you, do make sure to like and subscribe. Today, we're diving into a topic that'll probably anger the comment section quite a bit. The idea that you're overpaying for water resistance that you'll never need. There's a myth in watch culture. You need a dive watch to be safe around water. And that was true a while ago. But here's the truth. Unless you're literally diving, a standard 50 or 100 meter water resistance rating is more than enough. Yet people are out here rocking 1,000 meter monsters to do their dishes. I recently got my mitts on this DIY watch club diver, a dive watch that is only rated to 100 meters. While those of you in the comment section thought that a dive watch with 100 meter water resistance can't exist, I'd argue it's good enough for the job it would actually have, being worn as an accessory that might get wet, not one that definitely will. Now, I think one of the reasons the Submariner grew to popularity, driving forward the rise of the dive watch as a category, was because it was a watch that was safe around water in a time when normal watches just weren't. So that meant you could go about your day-to-day life, get it wet in the rain, do the dishes, jump in the sea even, worry-free. But the first Submariner only had a water resistance of 100 meters. But you don't need a dive watch for that anymore. Most mass market watches are water resistant to a decent degree now. Times have changed. It's very rare there isn't a watch with one of these ratings. 30 meters, so that means hand washing only. 50 meters, showers, rain, light swimming. 100 meters, swimming and snorkeling. 200 meters plus, that's in the region of scuba diving. It is true though that 100 meters water resistance doesn't actually mean you can dive to 100 meters of depth. Water resistance isn't literal, it's based on lab conditions, not real-life movement, temperature shifts, or pressure surges. It should be noted though that there are some brands out there when they say 300 meters they actually mean 300 meters, mainly Omega. However, I would posit that if a watch says it's water resistant, it's probably alright for what you really do with your watch. Now, we all know watch brands love big numbers. It's a way of rationalizing these expensive, emotional purchases that we make. A 1,000 meter dive watch sounds impressive until you realise it's completely overkill for 99.9% of wearers. Do you need a helium escape valve if you've never even owned a wetsuit? Probably not. It's not about function, it's about rationalising an irrational purchase, and numbers help with this. So you have to ask, who really needs 300 meters or more of water resistance? Potentially some divers, potentially professional sailors, maybe people who weld things underwater. But in the no camp, we have everyone else. Your average Rolex Submariner is more likely to hit a desk than a coral reef. I look to my watch box and my most water-resistant pieces are my Black Bay GMT and my Casio G-Shock, both rated to 200 meters. For the reality of my life, they do fine. They, in fact, exceed my needs. And I'd argue that even for real divers, these watches would be fine as well. Even my Soyosa, resistant to 50 meters, is likely good enough for most. The only pieces I do worry about with water, well, it's pieces like my 1970s Timex Marlin. The sort of thing the Submariner saw such success because of. But even though I'm aware of all this posturing and almost all watches being waterproof enough for our real needs, there are some deeper psychological notions at play that even I fall victim to. The modern consumer landscape is shaped not just by practical needs, but by deep psychological and social forces. One such force is the desire to keep up with the Joneses, a form of social comparison where individuals feel pressure to match or surpass their lifestyle and possessions of their peers. This drive often leads people to buy products, not for their utility, but to project a certain image. Take, for example, the trend of buying high-end, ultra-water-resistant watches. While few buyers ever dive beyond a swimming pool, the allure of owning a watch rated for hundreds of meters of underwater activity is strong, because it symbolises something more than timekeeping. The phenomenon aligns with conspicuous consumption, a concept introduced by Thorstein Veblen, where goods are purchased primarily to display status. The extreme durability or specialised features of these watches can become a shorthand for wealth and refinement, but also an individual's adventurousness. It's not that a 1000 meter water resistance rating is necessary, it's that it looks impressive, exclusive, and technical. The more exaggerated the feature, the more potent the signal of status and success, and the more it shows of you. Digging deeper, this behaviour also reflects Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Once people have met their basic needs, they seek self-esteem and self-actualization. Buying a rugged, high-performance watch, whether or not it's pushed to its limits, can help fulfill those psychological needs. It may provide a sense of mastery, personal identity, or belonging to an aspirational group, such as elite professionals or outdoor adventurers. In essence, the watch becomes a symbol of who someone wants to be, not what they need. However, with all this being said, we do need to keep in mind a few realities of long-term watch ownership. Even if your watch says water resistance, that rating fades over time. Gaskets wear out, seals degrade. If you swim regularly or even just shower with your watch, it's not the worst idea to have it pressure tested every year or two, especially if it's vintage. Because water damage, that's probably not going to be covered under warranty. Let's be fair, dive watches though look great. They feel tough, rugged, and sporty. There's a reason why they're iconic. But don't confuse design language with your actual needs. I'll be looking further into dive watch design language soon, so do subscribe if you want to check that out. But remember, you're not buying a diving tool, you're buying a status symbol in a wetsuit. And that's okay, just don't pretend it's about how far you can go underwater with your watch. We need to stop lying to ourselves. So unless you're scuba diving this weekend, your 300-meter dive watch is just an expensive confidence blanket. Save your money, know your needs, and remember, not every watch has to survive the Mariana Trench to survive your daily life. If this made you rethink your next dive watch purchase, do let me know in the comments, and if you're still clinging to that helium escape valve for dear life, go ahead and defend it as well. As ever, thanks for watching. If you want to see more of my work, do make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.